Turn on OBS. What's crazy is me not editing these. Just throw them up because you know what? They're fun, and I don't feel like taking the time. I do cut them up a little bit for Instagram and cut them up for TikTok for you guys to watch them on there. But right now, they're going to talk about movies that not everyone takes that everyone might not agree with. So I've been just doing this, piggybacking off people and checking out what they say and kind of debating with it. This is ARRISQ. He has a different name on Facebook. This is his Instagram. So go check out his videos. He has things that I would love to just do better, like do my own breakdowns on my own without. But my thing is, I like to debate with people and talk about their opinions and stuff, so I could kind of go in it with these people. Sadly, I don't get to hear back for them, and that's just how it's going to be because I'm not on anything with them. That's why we do the Best There Is podcast. If you look at the old videos, we had a lot of debating on there. Sucks. You go to the middle seasons of Best There Is podcast where we had great lighting. We had the studio. Now it's just me and Ryan on a couch because everyone else kind of moved on. But let's just get into this. Let's not talk about Best There Is. Let's do this for YouTube. Let's do it for Instagram. This is for TikTok. Movie takes not everyone agrees
with. All right, let's do this thing. He is better than all the MCU villains thus far.
God, it's just hard with Joker being so iconic of a character and so well played as a character. Again, it's hard because I feel like we keep repeating some of these things. That's why I need to kind of get away from a lot of these movies that keep getting brought up, but they keep getting brought up because they're good movies. Because I've talked before why Joker's big and why this Joker is so different because it's a different take on Joker. This Joker we haven't read in the comics yet. The long hair, the smeared makeup. We never really had this one that was pure chaos. Even though Joker is crazy and all that, this one was different. But he made it work in that Batman world. And it was just a great performance. People hated, like I said before in the other video I did, the licking the lips and his little ticks and stuff like that. But he's a better villain than all of. I think the only one that could really rival him, I don't know, because they're always like Vulture, Mysterio. They're all done really well for what characters they were and how they put them on the big screen. But as far as like they were just mind-blowing, the only one that I could put him up, well, I think Hela was really good. Hela was really good. Hela good. Hela was really good. She was approached very well. I don't care what people say about Ragnarok. A lot of people don't like Ragnarok. I think it's a great movie. People like, I think what ruined it is what TT, whatever his name is, his take and all his delivery about doing Thors and all that, I think ruined everybody's vibes on it. And there is humor in Ragnarok. I liked it because they squeeze Hulk in. I like when they do a little bit of a team up in these movies and we get to see other superheroes interact. But ultimately, I think Loki's the only one that can really, really compare. And I almost want to give it to Loki, and I think it's not fair, so I'm not going to give it to Loki because Loki has way more substance going on. He's been in 3 Thor movies. He wasn't in the 4th, right? 3 Thor movies. He's been in Avengers. He has an amazing series that went to 2 seasons. Great arc. By the end of the arc of season 2, it's just amazing. Loki, I think, is held up. If you look at the rankings, I believe he's one of the highest ranked movie or Netflix show. I think he just got bumped down on IMDb by the last episode of Daredevil season 2 of Born Again. Their last episode had a better rating than Loki's last episode. So, I mean, speaks volumes. But I think it's not fair to go against Joker, who had 1 movie, and Heath Ledger. A lot of villains suck in the DCU movies. I should say just DC. I don't know if they have a DCU. DC movies. They'd have a hard time they have amazing villains. DC has amazing villains, and the fact they have such a hard time blows my mind. But yeah, Joker definitely is going to get this for me. He's better than all the MCU villains thus far.
Duh. Is anyone really even going to argue with me on this one? This is one of the best performances in not just comic book movies, in cinema. Full stop. Like, all genres of film. Don't get me wrong, we've had some great villain performances in the MCU. Josh Brolin Thanos, Michael B. Jordan Killmonger, so on and so forth, but like, they ain't touching Ledger's Joker. It's about to get controversial up in this piece. The DCEU, the Snyderverse failed, not because of the tone, but because the execution of the universe was so astronomically trash that it hurt it as a whole.
That's pretty brutal take. This universe failed not because of the tone. I think the tone hurt it a lot. I've gone on the record. There's already a lot of videos. I trash Man of Steel. I don't care. They got Superman wrong. If you know Superman in any shape or form, comics, cartoons, anything, you're just being an edgelord if you think that's Superman and Man of Steel. Not crapping on Henry Cavill, because I think it's not really a lot of the actors. I think Brandon Routh was a great actor to play Superman. I think you're high. If you want to argue with me and say Brandon Routh wasn't a good Superman, that's nuts. Brandon Routh was a really good Superman. Was he in a crappy movie? He was in hella crappy movie. The movie was horrible. He didn't even fight in that movie. But there's people that can play these characters great, but it has to be a good story, has to have good look. And Metropolis should not look similar to Gotham. Gotham and Metropolis should look like night and day. Different. 100%. And the visuals we have with Superman opened up the world of DC, and it started off with this brown golden slate filter over the movie that Man of Steel either had a gold brown slate over it or a dark blue slate over it to give this vibe of no hope when Superman is about hope. And they mention it in the goddamn movie that it's about hope. It's one of those things that I really just can't believe that you could fumble DC so bad. DC may not have... I think Marvel has a lot of better superheroes, but I would say DC has more iconic superheroes. And DC, it has a very, very good chance of having better villains. That's what Samuel Jackson said. Like, you know, DC just has good villains. Marvel has the good heroes. But Marvel has a lot of good villains as well. It's just hard to put them up because for me, it comes down to the Batman's rogues to the Spider-Man rogues. It's really hard. Batman's are fun. Spider-Man's are fun. That's for a whole nother argument. But the execution was there's I think a lot of problems. The execution was really bad. I think Zack Snyder is crazy. I'm sorry for all the Snyderverse, restore the Snyderverse hashtaggers. I think Snyder is not right in the head. I don't think so. The way he's been posting things lately, people think he's going to make a Saudi Arabia deal or something's going to happen. People are lunatics, and you're falling into that cult of Zack Snyder or what he's doing. He did the Rebel Moons that were pretty bad. I think DC just didn't have the groundwork laid out. Wonder Woman came out, and I didn't really care for that. It was better than Man of Steel, in my opinion. People are going to be like, oh my God, no way, because Man of Steel's so deep, blah, blah, blah. Superman doesn't need to get that deep, man. Superman doesn't need to get that deep. We got some deep moments in Superman parts, but, you know, we want to relate a little bit. It's hard to relate to Superman. But it's more about us feeling hope and feeling like when the world's ending, we have some savior to save us. And that they took it literal, and they made him like Jesus with all the hands that were touching him. And it was a bit much. And we went to Wonder Woman. We have Aquaman. Then you go to Flash and Justice League. They all don't make sense. Flash at least brought us back Keaton. I was happy to see that. Other than that, Stuttering Stanley, Ezra Miller was garbage. I'm not going to just sit here and crap on all those all day because they were crap. But we're just talking about Snyderverse. For me, I'm not going to talk about DC as a whole universe because this is where they're trying to make their own universe. Yeah, execution was horrible. They did not have a plan. I think they tried to piggyback off Marvel's ideas. I think they should have just started with Justice League because we don't need to know Batman and Superman again or Wonder Woman. People will just accept Wonder Woman there. The only people that people might have not connected with, like, oh, I don't really know who Cyborg is, you know, something like that. But for just regular people, know who Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are. They know who they are. Just do Justice League first and go backwards and start giving them all single movies. That could have worked, but don't make it all doom and gloom. Like, we have to worry about these movies and be doom and gloom. Like Batman's could be doom and gloom, but when Batman appears in another movie, he's gonna look different and look out of place. But he does in the comics. He definitely steps out into the light, and it's not the same. But that's Batman. That's the way he's supposed to be. If Superman comes to Gotham, Superman's supposed to be a beacon of light and be different looking while he's in Gotham. He should have a darker tone on him where he's in that kind of setting, because it's hopeless. It's a different vibe. So he shouldn't be all bright and shiny. He'll have the colorful clothes on, I'm saying, but he shouldn't get a new tint on him and make him look so different just because he's down in the dumps. So I think they horribly dropped the ball. They have great characters that they could have done something with, and they executed horribly. Zack Snyder should have planned way ahead, and he should have jumped head in first with the Justice League and then went from there, because Justice League didn't need to get built up the way the Avengers did, and they wanted to do the Avengers, basically the Avengers method to build up the Justice League. To be honest, just do the Justice League, even though you had shitty characters or shitty casted actors. I want to say bad actors. I don't think Gal Gadot's a good actor, but you had Ezra Miller too. I like Jason Momoa, but he's not Aquaman. But basically, just start with Avengers, and don't let Zack Snyder do it. Let someone else do it. Basically, that's my take on that.
Damn, tell me how you really feel, whoever made this. All right, so I think like the tone was clearly part of it, but for me, and I think just stories in general, if the story was good, it would have succeeded, right? Like that's what matters most. The story you're trying to tell. Obviously, you know, the actors, the tone, all that stuff is a big part of the equation too. But the number one thing is the story. And overall, the story for the DCEU just wasn't there. They had no idea where they were going. They were just throwing things at a wall and trying to catch up 100%. To the MCU. On top of, yes, the tone was not what a lot of us diehard DC fans wanted. He was drastically changing the characters, or the DCEU in general was drastically changing a lot of characters, making them almost like Elseworlds versions of the characters, as they were so different. But yeah, I'd say that's a part of it, but not all of it. Although Toby is my personal GOAT, cry about it, they say. They want you to shed those freaking tears. Holland's Spider-Man is the best portrayal put on the live action big screen. Now, Toby.
So I went into this talking about trilogies in the video, probably hopefully I'll put up before this. And I go a little bit into this. This one's really tough because everyone did their part. Tobey Maguire broke in Spider-Man, showed us what it's like to have Spider-Man in the world. Andrew Garfield gave us the contrast of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, really separating them. The only thing was Andrew Garfield was too cool of a Peter Parker. That's my only problem, really. Andrew Garfield's a really good actor. I'd even go far as say he's a better actor than Tobey Maguire. When I see Andrew Garfield in other things, I don't know. I think he's a better actor than Toby. Toby, I mean, he's got that movie. I think it's Jarhead or something. He does really well in that too. I don't know. I don't want to get into that debate. But Tom Holland is our Spider-Man. He, number one, was put into the MCU. So he's surrounded first with the Avengers. He takes Captain America's shield. Feels right. And I think it's not fair, but if Andrew Garfield or Toby were in those spots, it would help them more, but they don't look that age. We got Spider-Man at the beginning of his career, and he's like a 16-year-old kid. Tobey Maguire looked like a 30-year-old man as Spider-Man. He did great, but he looked like a 30-year-old man. And Garfield just looked too cool to be Peter Parker, to be honest with you. He was a handsome, cool-looking dude. Tom Holland's not an ugly guy, but he's definitely could pull off the awkward kid. He's an awkward kid. He's young. He's not getting the girls. You know, he's not like super nerdy looking, but it's kind of updated to where we don't have to get the Stanley's first Amazing Fantasy look of Peter Parker. We don't have to do that. Toby's didn't really do that, of course. Andrew was far from it. He was like a cool kid. But yeah, Tom Holland, he just fits the age, the voice, the quirkiness, and we get to grow with him now. So we get to go with him now in college coming up, and hopefully he stays as Spider-Man like in all these movies for a while, and we get to get a 30-year-old Spider-Man, which I keep looking forward to. I want not a 30-year-old actor to play. Well, actually, they could play once he gets to the 30s. I wouldn't mind Tom Holland being 30 or so. Unfortunately, with Tobey Maguire, he was older already. some of my favorite stories are like I've said on other video are when he's grown up with real problems of having a wife and balancing that, and he still has Aunt May. He doesn't live with her, but he's doing life, and I think we could go that way with Tom Holland eventually, and that's just, I already said on another video, I think the Spider-Man MCU trilogy is above. It kind of sucks to go against the other trilogy, but just because they got a really bad bad movie and it's kind of hard. But I heard these guys talk about Far From Home is really bad, and I blew my mind. I went on a little rant about that, and I should probably make my own video about it. But anyways, Tom Holland, that's what we're going with.
Maguire Spider-Man is my personal GOAT as well. I feel like he's the Spider-Man equivalent of what Keaton is to Batman. But I do agree with this. I've said it before. I really like Holland's version of Spider-Man. He's like my second favorite Spider-Man or live-action Spider-Man overall. But his portrayal of the character is pretty damn spot on. I mean, he was just, the right age when he started, and it just works. I know a lot of people will be like, no, Andrew Garfield. I'm still going to go Holland. After Secret Wars, Marvel needs to recast these characters. No ifs, ands, or buts.
This one's really hard because we're so in love with these characters. I know a lot of people are up in the air with... Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I was going to say Eric Bana. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The guy that plays Hulk. I don't know why I can't think of him. I know people are iffy with him. People sometimes want to go back to Ed Norton, which remind me nothing of Bruce Banner. This dude, he's Bruce Banner. I think he does great. Captain America, for me, I would never think I could see Chris Evans watching him as from another teen movie, or even Fantastic Four saying this guy's going to be Captain America. I could not see it. And reading about all the people that tried out for him, even John Krasinski, guy from Saturday Night Lights or Friday Night Lights. They showed like who were down that were close to it, and it's even the guy that he's in hella into HeroClix. That's how I know him, and he voices Star-Lord in the video game, or no, it's the Telltale video game, not the last video game. He was down, and none of these guys I could see it, and Chris Evans would be a hard believe, but once you hear him talk as Steve Rogers, it's like, holy shit, he's Steve Rogers. Like, when he gives his speeches or when he tells them what to do, it's just nuts. Oh man, I can't see anybody now. Like, my wife has an issue seeing him as Captain America. She's like, I don't see him as Captain America. I saw the guy who played, I'm drawing blanks on everybody. The guy that played Two-Face, that was my ultimate pick if they went the Ultimates route. I remember that was like the in the world of when they were starting to launch the MCU and they wanted to cast people for like the Ultimate story. I was definitely feeling that guy. I can't think of his name either, from Two-Face, because we always got a middle-aged Captain America, but Chris Evans he just killed it. He's Captain America to me now. I can't see past it. I can't see anyone else being him. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. I'm not going to say anymore. Hugh Jackman, I had a rough time. I'm a huge Wolverine fan. Wolverine's probably my favorite superhero. No, he is my favorite superhero. My son's name is Logan. My comic store is called Best There Is Games. Hugh Jackman was rough for me in the beginning. Even in 2 and 3, it's hard to get the vibes as being a huge Wolverine fan, him not really being him. In the Wolverine, I kind of started liking how he presented Wolverine. And then Old Man Logan, I was really against. Really against. Because, number one, I was butthurt. It wasn't the comic. Because Old Man Logan, to me, that comic is so epic. I was mad they didn't go that route. But watching Old Man Logan now, it's not really a superhero movie to me. It's a really good movie. I still see Logan, I guess, in that movie. I still see him. But it's not the Wolverine we all know. It's the Wolverine at the end of time. It's almost like an Elseworld story. But as far as, Wolverine was really hard for me to get used to for Hugh Jackman, especially the first one. It's pretty tough. If you watch it, the acting and his look, it's pretty rough. He started getting serious and getting into shape, probably after 3, when he got the Wolverine Origins, which was god awful. but I think he did a good job as Wolverine in that. I don't want to say, people will hate me for this, I don't want to say he's like going to be the best Wolverine. I don't know, but Wolverine is very hard to cast. He's supposed to be tiny, wide, buff. Henry Cavill looked really cool as him. I'll give you that. I don't know if he could actually do the vibe for how big he is and tall he is, but Hugh Jackman does work. I think his best work is Wolverine and Deadpool, honestly. Maybe it's me seeing him in the suit. I don't know. To me, that was like ultimate Wolverine, butting the heads with Deadpool, and definitely like just he had the vibe. That was Wolverine. Like for me, that was Wolverine. Getting mad at Deadpool, especially the speech in the car where he tells Deadpool how he can't die and that's his curse, and he hates him, and they get in the big fight. Like that's such a great scene. And the scene where they talk to him about by the fire, X-23 talks to him. It's just really, really, really good portrayal. Like that for me was Hugh Jackman's best portrayal of Wolverine as popping off this comic to the screen Wolverine, not like a movie version of Wolverine, but as far as like, yes, this is like comic book Wolverine. Like I said, maybe the suit helped. And Black Panther, unfortunately, Chadwick is gone. He was amazing as Black Panther. I love Chadwick as Black Panther. So we ultimately already have to cast that. I don't want Shuri to keep the role. Shuri as Black Panther is not very good. I don't like the setup that like his son might take over. I don't know how I feel about that. I thought with the Black Panther sequel, they should have just recast them. Same with the Joker and Dark Knight. I get that these people passed away, but I hate to say it, these characters are bigger than people. These characters are going to be around longer than me, you, our grandparents, their grandparents, our kids' grandparents. You know, they're going to be around forever. They're bigger than us. So the show must go on. Just like Edward Norton got recast and War Machine got recast. You know, it has to happen. I wish Black Panther kept going and stayed in the Marvel Universe. Even though he's probably bigger for me than Joker getting recast, because Joker, you could leave the story, I guess. But Black Panther needed to still be telling stories, part of the Avengers. And it'd be sad to see someone else be him. But again, War Machine, we moved on. Hulk, we moved on. It's just more that someone died. And I don't know if they said like out of respect, I guess. But his family was all down for it. So now we broke down all the superheroes, how I feel about them. Now recasting them, we're going to have to. They're aged. One passed away. The other's aged. I don't want Shuri to take over. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. I don't want to feel that vibe after Secret Wars that we just get a whole different Ultimate Universe type of vibe where we get a new universe and it's going to feel different because they're not the same. A lot of people are probably going to complain, say, oh, I don't like these versions altogether and stuff. It's going to be hard. I don't. And we can't just go, well, Iron Man's out of the picture. He died. Captain America's back in time. No more Captain America. You know, Wolverine's just going to go to the X-Men world and not see him again. Hulk's just going to go to a planet and never come back. These stories need to keep coming. My kids need to start, or need to always have these stories. And that goes for DC too. You know, there's people like my dad who loves comics. Almost like Christopher Walken. My dad likes comics. And for what he got to see, you know, even now, what he gets to see compared to what he saw in the beginning, it's huge. And for me to get to see these kind of things, it was huge. You know, I remember being like a little kid, like in Wolverine a lot, and he'd buy me Michigan State Wolverines hats because it's a Wolverine. We would have to go through like a magazine and order a Wolverine. I remember it's a Wolverine Spider-Man shirt I had. He made Wolverine shirts for me, Wolverine, Hulk, and Spider-Man on a shirt. They did it. I forgot how they did it, but it was a cool way how they drew on it. And it was like some paint and stuff. I don't know. But now you walk in and there's a Groot shirt. I mean, it's crazy. We're in a different time. I could go at Kohl's right now and order an Iron Fist shirt. I bought a Cosmic Ghost Rider shirt from Kohl's the other day. Or no, last Christmas. We're in a different time. We're in a different world. These characters are going to keep going. And it's going to be rough. It's going to be really hard. The recasting is going to have to happen. But it sucks that it's all going to happen at once. I think that's the biggest issue. We're not going to slowly get new actors in here and there. replacing them, telling the same story. It would be rough, like seeing Civil War, then a new Spider-Man in the next one. It would be rough to do that, but almost makes you want to, just so you can ease it instead of just happening over to the next movies. Yeah, we're gonna have to recast these people. Plain and simple. No ifs and or buts. We have to recast them. They're aging. It sucks. I think Steve, if he does come back, they already ruined his arc. I hated that he didn't come back in the endgame. Besides being Joe Biden old man, I really didn't like that at all. To me, I'm like, isn't there going to be consequences that he goes back and, oh, now Doctor Doom's not happy? Sounds like it's going to be because of Steve Rogers. So I'm glad there's ramifications for what he did. Of course, all he deserved to be happy, but you know what? Sometimes we don't get our happy endings. It just happens. That's the price you pay for being a hero and sacrificing your life over everything else, you know? Wolverine doesn't get a happy ending. But yeah, so I think Chris Evans could stay as Captain America for a little bit. Hugh Jackman's going to have to be out soon. That's going to be so hard to replace Wolverine. Very, very hard. Because you want an up-and-coming actor, and you want to be able to hold him for a while. That's going to be very hard. Black Panther will be easy. Because we already don't have Black Panther anymore. So that'll be easy. Iron Man's going to be rough. Because Robert Downey Jr. is so iconic. That is Iron Man. I remember being at the panel at San Diego Comic-Con. You could Google it. I'm one of the guys in line. And I tell him, like, dude, you're Tony Stark. And everyone applauded because it's true. I saw the trailer and I'm like, dude, that's Tony Stark. I think at that time I was asking them, like, is he going to be like the ultimate Iron Man or comic Iron Man? And he kind of, Jon Favreau explained stuff. But that's going to be a tough one. And just to see a younger guy playing it, I feel like you can't replicate them. You can't have a guy do an impression as Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. That's going to be the issue. Yeah. Oh, man, this hurts, man. Just thinking about all these people getting recasted. It's just really going to hurt because you don't want to see them trying to play that actor as that character. You want them to be their own. Maybe they have a plan. I know Kevin Feige's kind of pushing himself further away from Marvel, so I don't think he has a plan. I don't know how much the Russos are involved. This video is taking longer than I thought it was going to take because it's getting me thinking a lot. Don't worry, if you're on TikTok or you won't even hear this if it's on TikTok or Instagram because I'll cut it up. I'll have to make it small. Yeah, so that's it for that. They have to be recast. It's just gonna suck. So, yeah, see what he has to say.
Well, you're in luck because Kevin Feige said that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to be rebooting the MCU after Secret Wars, which we could assume means they're recasting all of the iconic pivotal roles for the MCU. Comic book movie takes, not every...
So that was it. I'm glad we ended on that because I was getting stressed with all those answers. Yeah, these were interesting takes. For the most part, I think I agreed with all of them, which is kind of crazy. I think I did. Yeah, I think I agreed with everyone. Movie takes that not everyone might agree with, but I think I agreed with everyone. I can't think of the ones I didn't. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Joker, bigger than the villains. DCU's fucked up. There was another one in there. I know the last one was with recast. Guardians. I agreed with Guardians. So yeah, I agreed with all these takes. So there it is. Going back to OBS, shut it off, and I'll talk to you guys later.